We've got Gladiator Metals, code TSXV GL80. Gladiator is advancing the High-Grade Whitehorse Copper Project in Yukon, Canada, a world-class asset comprising a 35-kilometer-long skarn copper belt that has previously produced copper. Drilling is currently focused on multiple near-surface high-grade copper prospects, including Cowley Park, Cub Trend, and Best Chance, and is targeting a high-grade inferred copper resource of more than 100 million tons. So, very significant scale. Here to talk through this exciting copper opportunity is Gladiator's VP of Corporate Development, Olav Langelaar. Good evening, Olav, and please take it away.
Hi, Alex. Pleasure to be here. Thank you very much. Let me pull up my screen here. So my name is Olav Langelaar. I'm with Gladiator Metals. I've been with the company for approximately just going on a year. And by background, I was previously an engineer, worked with most of the major Canadian mining companies for about 10 years. Went into investment banking for 25 years and then came across this project and thought this was something that nobody in Canada seemed to know about. And the grades were spectacular and the size is quite compelling. And so I joined as VP Corp Dev in October. So I'll just walk you through what we have. So we have what's called the Whitehorse Copper Project. This is a belt that's 35 kilometers long. It's primarily a skarn belt, previously in production for about 15 years with a very small mine around the the Middle Chief, Little Chief area. We have four prominent belts. Cowley Park, lump that in with Cub Trend, that's our flagship asset. The Chief's Trend, where the historic mining occurred. Arctic Chief Trend is now showing some very strong promise for exploration success, and the Hat Trend. So generally speaking, our objective here is to delineate 100 million tons of resource along the trend. Cowley Park is where we're focusing most of our efforts right now. Over 300 drill holes have been completed in the last number of years, and we continue to drill and expand it. Most importantly, the grades are all trending around the 0.75, 0.77 to 1%, with some spectacular grades of 8, 9, 10% along the way. So the leadership team, the project was put together by Jason Bontempo, who's out of Perth, Marcus Harden, who is with First Quantum, Cal Nielsen, ex-Placer, geologist, myself. I've told a little about myself already. Matt Roma is our CFO. He was previously with Snowline Gold, which is a very successful Canadian Yukon-based gold exploration company. Darren Devine is our chairman, and Sean Kunkun, who's the CEO of Dolly Varden, is also a director. Our share base is, we have 79 million shares outstanding. We just recently announced the financing, which will close around September 9th, which will add another 18.7 million shares. Additionally, we still owe the vendors of the project around 11 million shares due in the next 3 years. So all up, you're looking at roughly 109 million shares on a fully diluted basis, and we have over $30 million of cash. So we're well funded for the balance of this year and well into next year, probably around this time. Our shareholder base consists primarily 32% retail, management and insiders, technical advisors, friends and associates are 38%, institutionally we're 22%, and the Coyne family, who are the vendors of the project, who are also what we call Kwanlin Dun First Nations members, whose traditional territory our project resides, own 8%. This stock is very heavily held by institutions. There are over 9 institutions, and with the recent financing is probably closer to 12. Macquarie Bank out of Australia is a big supporter, as are Mackenzie and 1832 out of Toronto, Arimco and Ixios. Those are the publicly disclosed institutional shareholders. We have research coverage by Cormark Securities, who just led our recent financing, Stefan Ayanu, and Joe Mazumdar, Exploration Insights, along with Barrackhead at Beacon, provide coverage. So Cowley Park, we have over 300 holes into Cowley Park. It's still open at strike, on strike to the east and the west. It's open at depth. And just recently, we've been drilling some holes beneath the 200-meter buffer, 250 meters, and have intersected some pretty significant mineralization, which has all of us quite excited that maybe we've got a tiger by the tail here. So our initial objective was to delineate Cowley Park, where we spent most of our efforts drilling, and we're going to move uptrend to a number of other very promising exploration targets as well. Some of the high-grade intercepts you'll see here, 84 meters, 16 meters at 6.37, 36 meters of 2.28, 71 meters at 1.1, 27 at 2.74. We didn't discover this high-grade zone until late last year, and so we've now started to delineate that going forward. So the deposit is still open to the east and to the west. And in the east, it bifurcates into two legs, which are both giving us some very spectacular grades, 20 meters at 5.53, 14 at 7.67, and then 4 meters at 1.24. So lots of upside still on the strike extents. And as we've recently discovered, we're open at depth, and I'll discuss that in the next slide. So this year we decided we would try to drill below the 200-meter limit, which we always said was on account of the fact that we were, sort of trying to remain near surface where we thought all of the mineralization occurred. We drilled a deep hole this year that brought back 55 meters at 0.7% copper, plus a little bit of gold, 0.01 gold, 2.61 silver, and 154 ppm moly. So we have 21 meters at 1.27 copper from 199 meters vertical depth down. We're now awaiting assays on CPG 095. So again, extending this at depth was one of our objectives this year, and I think we've more than accomplished that, and we're quite excited because we're now, to 300-meter depth instead of previously where we were at 200. One of the other exciting things we've done is we've completed a lot of geophysics along the Cowley prospect. This is a surface expression of the Cowley deposit projected to surface. We have this fault. But the geophysics that we've completed this year is suggesting we may have another subparallel trend here to the southwest. We have another target here to the south. And the extensions of these two legs are showing to be very promising as geophysics is highlighting them. And we hope to drill out these extents later this year. One of the most exciting parts of this project is when you look at what is the opportunity or how many deposits are there that are around 40 million tons of 1% copper as a headline grade that are open pittable. And there are only 4 undeveloped projects in the world. The first two, Masaniak in Afghanistan, Kalakuni in the DRC, are both conflict acids. So you really have Trilogy Metals, Arctic deposit in Alaska, and San Nicolas, which is a Teck Agnico Eagle joint venture in Mexico. This is a very, very unique opportunity in terms of this kind of tonnage, this kind of grade with a near surface aspect to it. So if we move a little further north, we're going to talk about the Chiefs Trend. We completed geophysics, which has never been done before. And if you look in this gray area, I'm sure you can see my mouse. That's the old Little Chief mine that operated from 1967 to 1982 by Hud Bay, produced around 8.5 million tons of 1%, 1.5% copper, a low gold credit, a little bit of moly, 0.75 gold, a little bit of silver. So when the oil crisis of 82 occurred, price of fuel went up, copper collapsed to 60%, the mine shut down. And this entire land package was basically cobbled together by the Coyne family, who held it privately for 40 years. So there's been no significant modern exploration done in the last 40 years. Jason knew the Coyne family. He acquired the asset through the earn-in. Like I said, we've done all the expenditures, $12 million. We have 11 million shares to issue in 2 tranches, 5 million in 26 and 6 in 2029. But most importantly, all of these trends we've now started to drill, and we've experienced mineralization on the first several holes we've put in. So everyone is very excited about this because this is now going to become a new emerging trend, a middle of the package. So we have Valerie with a lot of success, and then we have the Little Chief footwall zone. So these are early stage exploration, not as advanced as Cowley. Cowley's had 2-3 years of drilling plus a whole bunch of historic drilling, and this is all kind of new discovery territory for us. So Arctic Chief, we're starting to work on delineating a resource to the northern half of it. So this is what we call the Arctic Chief to the best chance trend. And you'll see here, the geophysics lines up quite nicely. The drill holes in the north, sort of the south and the north, are lining up. And to give you some sense of scale, Cowley is about 800 meters long. So we have about a 1.2 kilometer trend here, heavily mineralized. This northern portion of the trend tends to be heavy copper gold, whereas Cowley tends to be copper moly for byproduct credits. So it's a very exciting time. We're fully funded. All our deposits are open. We still haven't delineated a resource, and that's our objective for this year. So here's where we're at. First half of the year, we completed about 70 holes, 88 holes for around 15,000 meters. For the latter half of the year, we're planning on doing 12,000 meters at Cowley Park, 10,000 meters at Little Chief, 5,000 at Best Chance and Arctic Chief. The last two, that 15,000 meter, I would think of that as a pool because depending on success, we might reallocate to different priorities. We've completed some preliminary met work. We're waiting for those results. You can expect to see those in the upcoming weeks. Continuing to do some ongoing geophysics, primarily downhole EM at Cowley and Little Chief. And then for the final end of the year, we hope to get what's called a Class 3 permit approval, which just really allows us unlimited flexibility to drill where we want. Currently, we're drilling on what's called a Class 1 that only allows us to drill in select spots based on a plan we submitted before we get the latest information. And then, again, depending on how the program unfolds and the success, we'd like to have a resource out in the latter part of H1 2026, and that'll be based on Cowley Park. So, you know, we're, again, fully funded. We have one very promising deposit that's still open, along strike at depth with spectacular copper grades hovering around the 0.7, 0.8 to 1.5% with high-grade sniffs of 7, 8, 9%, which is really quite unique for an open pittable copper deposit. Okay, that's really all I have for you, Alex.
No, thanks, Olav. That's excellent. A really, really interesting story, and looks like we can see the Yukon out there through your window. Is that are you out?
It feels like the Yukon here. It's I'm up at my cabin, and it's a very similar climate and environment. Absolutely. So one of the points I guess I didn't mention is that our proximity to Whitehorse provides us with an enormous infrastructure advantage. So unlike a lot of projects in the Yukon that are extremely remote, we have hydro grid power adjacent to us. Everybody goes home at night. There's no camp. Our drilling costs around 250 to 260 meters Canadian. Sorry, $250 to $260 Canadian per meter, which is just staggering low given our proximity to infrastructure.
No helicopter support required when you've got a major town right next to you. And Whitehorse is, I think, similar to Kalgoorlie, I believe, in terms of scale and services. And
yeah, Whitehorse is a full-service community. It's sort of the central business hub of all of the Yukon. Population probably 25, 30,000 people. I tell people if you want to order a pizza from the drill rig, you can probably get it delivered there. So
that's a good hook.
Yes.
Yeah. So nice and easy. And I know you have really good, you enjoy really good relations with the First Nations. I know that's been, you've worked hard at that, and you've got really good relations there. So that must make things a lot easier.
Yeah, that's a testament to, I think, Jason's objective right out of the gate.
Mm,
Let's ensure that the First Nations become partners, that they're on board right away. We have a very fluid and transparent process with them. Generally speaking, the way permitting works, there's usually a public consultation period. We actually do our consultation with them before we apply for our permit, so that really the consultation is complete when we make our submissions. And I think
mm.
that's served us very well so far. So
Yeah, that's obviously a very important thing to get right from the beginning. So
yes,
credit to you. Just one, probably got a time for one more quick question. It's just a little bit exciting, the deep holes that you've done recently that have kind of gone a bit below the skarn, the
yep.
last two releases that you've had. Um, what do you think's going on there? I mean, is there some other mineralization system that you've just caught the top of, or is it too early to speculate?
Look, it's a very exciting time. I think we were quite surprised by the success we've had drilling the deep holes. It's only the first two holes that went below 250 meters of vertical. And we're highly encouraged by the widths. We're getting 22 to 55 meters of high grade copper mineralization, a lot of bornite. Um, the granodiorite was the intrusive, which initially we thought, or was initially not mineralized from what we had seen. And now we're seeing a lot of intense mineralization on all points.
Mm,
So this brings up sort of 2 points. Tells me that we've only been drilling sort of the skarn mineralization, but we probably have a bigger system. And we've always felt that this land package was a massive system, which is why some of our, like the Arimcos, invested in us, because they said, look, you have a big system here. So my view is we've got a tiger by the tail here. And I think,
mm,
look, we've only got 2 holes into it, but I don't want to say we've drilled the easy stuff, but the near surface material mineralization was quite strong. So, we've got 3 rigs going to map out the scale of alteration and start vectoring in on trying to find a source. Where is this actually all coming from? And, if you want to arm wave, hopefully it's a porphyry. But I think it's still too
mm.
early to tell. Having said that, I think we're all optimistic that, we're onto something big here. Just given the magnitude of the alteration, the tenor of the copper grades, it's a very exciting time.
Excellent. Well, we'll keep eyes on how it unfolds from here. That sounds really good, Olav. Thank you for your time. Sunday evening, your time. So thank you very much for dialing in this evening, Olav, and really good to speak with you. Thanks for your presentation and going through the Q&A.
No,
Um,
thank you for having me, Alex.